as close to the maximum that I dare, because I could almost not pull it back. And it was also being pushed upwards. So that was that was not fun. This is probably the most requested video looking through the comments here on the channel. A wind test for the Autel Nano Plus. But that test isolated would not provide any value unless we put it up against the Mini 2, another 250 gram drone. Both categorized for level 5 in wind speed resistance, meaning that it would be capable of flying in winds between 8.5 to 10.5 meters per second. So the other day when it was pretty windy here, I decided to go out and test the capabilities of these two drones. As I had a feeling that the Nano Plus was struggling significantly more than I was used to with the Mini 2. We already now have a feeling how this might go down based on the wind test that I posted yesterday, showing significant speed drops in all 3 flight modes when flying headwind. The maximum speed in sport mode from the two drones are 13 meters per second with the firmware that I'm using right now for the Nano Plus, and 16 meters per second from the Mini 2. And the drone that I have is a pre-production model, so the issues that I see might be related to the drone that I'm flying and not a representative for all the drones that are out there. So this video is a snapshot of what I see with my sample. Also, I've shared all this information with Autel in advance, giving them a fair chance to assess what is going on. They have told me that they are well aware of this problem and they're working on improving the performance, making it available in future firmware updates. But more details are not available right now, but rest assured that I will follow up with a video once a new firmware becomes available. So if you're not already a subscriber, then it might be a good time for you to consider so you don't miss out on that update. So I'm using the firmware 109. And I'm doing this in a very controlled environment. I'm using this building plot, basically parking lot that is next to where I live. So the cool part about that area is that it's surrounded by trees. So I can do a controlled flight where I know I can control the drone below the treetop line. And then when I want to test the wind power or the wind, how it's affecting the drone, I can just raise the altitude above the tree line. The day where I did the testing, the wind direction was from Esrom Lake towards the houses here in the back. In that way, I could position the drone over the parking lot. And then when the wind was too strong to keep the position of the drone, it would drift towards the grass area in front of the houses, where I could then bring it down and regain control. At least that was the cunning plan. So just checking up on the weather conditions when I was doing my first initial test. So at ground level we had 16 miles per hour with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. That translates into 7 meters per second, but with gusts up to around 16. So the gusts are definitely exceeding the level 5 max wind resistance. In case you're wondering what all these levels are, I actually found a table that will allow you to see what these levels equals to. This is pretty convenient information to know what it is that we are actually talking about. Current weather is pulled through an app that is called UAV Forecast. So with this scenario, we already knew starting out that the drone will run into problems, at least with some of the gusts that it's being submitted to. So I kept the drone low below the tree lines to mitigate that situation. I'm starting out by flying around 5 meters height, and there's no issues there as we are well shielded behind the trees. I'm increasing the altitude to 10 meters, still below the tree line, and no problems. Then I'm increasing the height to 24, and I'm starting to get into problems operating the drone in standard mode. It's being pushed around up there and I have a very hard time moving it around. So if I tilt down the camera and move it to around 28 meters, it's actually keeping its position, but I don't have much chance of moving it around. It's sort of the maximum height that is possible in this scenario with the standard flight mode. Pushing it to 35 meters, well above the tree line, the wind is simply too strong and the drone is drifting, unable of keeping its position. But this was well expected under these wind conditions. And this was getting a bit interesting, I have to say. And this is a really good example that shows you what you need to take into account when you are flying in high winds. And this is regardless of the drone brand, is that you need to plan for the wind direction if you're planning to go out and fly in stronger winds. Because imagine that if you are out there where you barely can see the drone and you are running out of battery and you need to go back and you have to fight the wind, there is a high chance that you will lose your drone. So into sport mode, maximum power available to see what is possible. So we have a little bit more force. Then put it up. Oh, it's being pushed back towards the houses, so I'm gonna move it a little bit more here. So you can use the car here as the baseline. So you can see it's being really pushed around. So I'll put it up 30 meters and I'm flying forward, full speed. It's not moving, it doesn't have enough force.
Aircraft is unstable due to the strong
to
wind.
move forward.
Please fly with caution or return to home.
So I lower the altitude here. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna go here. We are moving up to so we are at 34 meters. And it's drifting now. So I'm pushing forward on the stick.
Is unstable due to the
and I can barely hold it.
Fly with caution or return to home.
I need to take it down now, because otherwise this is going to be too risky. So sport mode, we raise up to 34 meters. Let's try it one more time here. So I keep the camera so you can see what's going on. So the conditions were pretty controlled, but it almost went wrong for me. When I was going in sport mode up to 30 meters, I guess the wind may have picked up because I totally lost control of the drone. And it was being pulled very fast towards the houses. And I was kind of struggling to regain control. So I had to bring it down fast to regain control. And I had to go as low as 10 meters to be able to control the drone, as there was some sort of a Venturi effect towards the castle that kept me from regaining control. So I had to lower the altitude to around 10 meters to make it stop drifting. But even then, because of this Venturi effect towards the castle, I had a hard time flying it back. So I had to lower it even more. I had to go down to around 4 meters to be able to fly back. So that's it. That's where I decided that I have done enough wind testing with the Nano Plus. So see, I almost have to go to the ground. So now that's it. That's enough wind testing here. So in all fairness, we exceeded the level 5 wind resistance capabilities of the Nano Plus. But all of this doesn't make much sense if you don't have anything to compare it against. So of course I brought the Mini 2 as well to compare that. So it was very interesting to see how that would hold up in the same conditions. So I start by going above the tree line directly at around 33 meters. Just leaving the sticks, and it had no problems keeping its position. So a lot is going on when you are increasing the altitude to 30 meters. So let's just check at the UAV forecast to see what that means. At 30 meters, you would have 23 miles per hour wind speed with gusts up to 41 miles per hour. That translates into approximately 10 meters per second wind speed with gusts up to around 18 meters per second. So the wind speeds are barely within the upper level of the level 5 wind speeds. Then I increased the altitude to 45 meters, at least 10 meters above the level where we saw the Nano start struggling. And still no issues keeping the position. So that the Mini 2 is capable of keeping its position is pretty impressive. So around 45 we are starting to see wind warnings on the Mini 2. So of course I decided to push it. Going to 66 meters, just leaving it there for a second. Then I thought, why not go to 100? On my way to 100 meters, I decided to stop at 80 and reposition the drone, as it was drifting a little bit off course. I didn't want it to go over the housing areas. So the final stretch up to 100 meters, and still no problem at keeping the position. And at 100 meters, the wind is completely crazy. Let's just check the UAV forecast again. The wind is 31 miles per hour with gusts up to 48 miles per hour. Again, that translates into around 14 meters per second with gusts up to 21.5 meters per second. more equal to a level 7 or 8 on the Beaufort wind scale, and way above the drone's capabilities. Of course, I need to test if I could fly under these conditions. So right now I'm not touching anything, so I'm at 100 meters height. So even though it's in sport mode, I'm not touching anything here. And I can just move it a little bit backward here. That's easy because that's downwind. Let's just try and fly it the other way. So I can actually move it. It flies, even though we're in high wind, and of course the gimbal is being knocked out and it's flying to the side here. So it's definitely a stronger drone, the Mini 2, when it comes to high wind. This is super impressive. I have to say, I'm super impressed. As much as I'm disappointed in the wind performance for the Nano Plus, I must say what the Mini 2 is pulling off here is really impressive, as both drones in the datasheet are labeled for level 5. So in this comparison, there's no doubt that the Mini 2 takes the win. But we also pushed both limits way beyond their specifications. Does this make the Nano Plus a bad drone? If wind is no issue for you, it doesn't, because it has a lot of other really good things going for it, making it a very powerful drone below 250 grams. So if you live in an area where 250 grams is really important to you to be able to fly your drone in the future, the Nano Plus is definitely still a super candidate, as the camera, as we have proven in previous videos, are far superior to what you get with the Mini 2. In case you want to do a deep dive into the Nano Plus to see what other great stuff it can offer, I made a full review covering everything, and I will make sure to make that video available through this card. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give it a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you around.